We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Oyende Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's rebirthing program, as well as Jamila Sense, and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Gray Lives on the Rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Oyende Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon. Greetings, everyone. How are you? It's Professor
Greetings.
Jamila Franklin, and I'm here to talk about the life coaching program that I have. And these are two of my wonderful, beautiful clients who have experienced it. And this program is very different. It's not like the typical life coaching program. First of all, let me just tell you a little bit about me. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology. I've had my counseling practice for over 30 years. Okay. It is very, very effective. And I've added to it throughout the years. What I've done is I've added quantum physics to it. I've added energy medicine to it. I've added a lot of different avant-garde kinds of therapies to it. You know why? Because you can't remain stagnant. As times change, you have to change. And some people have not changed. And what I do is I believe in doing my research and keeping up with the times, because people change and they desire to have something different. And these therapies that I have included are very effective. They get in there and they help people transform their lives and change, because we are energy beings. So most of the things that I'm dealing with now deal with the core of who you are. I'm dealing with trauma. A lot of people are suffering from trauma. So in my coaching program, which is a spiritual, holistic program, it addresses trauma from all generations. You are carrying around trauma from your ancestors, and some of them you don't even know. So what I'm doing now with my program is we get to the core of the things that are causing disruptions in your life and in the lives of your family members. It's very different. So I have a program called Alamaj that's incorporated within my life coaching program. I do one-on-one life coaching. I also do group coaching. And my website, Oyende Enterprises, has all of the testimonials, reviews, and they answer people's questions. And these two beautiful souls in front of you today are going to give you some questions answered that you may have. I know people are like, what is life coaching? How is hers different? Very different. I haven't trained anyone in it. I got this download from Spirit, God, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever you like to call that energy. I always give reverence and deference to the creator of the universe, to my angels, and to my ancestors, because without them, I would not be able to do what I do. I am the vessel, and they are giving me the answers to help you, beautiful souls out there. So I'm passionate about what I do. My mission is to help transform lives in a way that's going to be effective, that's going to be life-changing, that's going to really, really make a difference in your life. So having said that, I would like to introduce these two young ladies. Sitting in front of you with the beautiful long do is Sydnee. And I work with women of all ages and men too. I'm just adjusting my shirt because it's just what everyone wants to do. Of all ages as well as men. And my demographic includes women from the ages of 30 all the way up. men as well, but most of my clients are female. So lovely Sydney is a hairstylist, and she's an alchemist with hair. She's amazing.
Thank you.
She's amazing.
Thank
And
you.
she is going to talk about how my program has worked with her one-on-one, as well as meditation. I do meditation. I include a lot of things in my life coaching program because when you sign on with me, it is a commitment for me to you to change your life. So also my beautiful Alice. Alice is here from Las Vegas, and Alice has been with me. How many years, Alice?
Oh, 10.
She's been with me for 10 years, and she's been amazing. She's taken the courses that I've taught, as well as being been one of the clients in the life coaching program. And don't think that when you have a life coach or a therapist that you're going to love him or her all the time, because Alice can tell you that's not happening. Okay. Not happening. You're going to love them. They're going to touch on some things that make you feel uncomfortable. So what I'm going to do now is just, it's going to be conversational, and you can go to my website, Oyinde Enterprises, OYINDE Enterprises, ENTERPRISES.com, and see the reviews. We're going to have it listed at the end of the podcast too, so you can get in touch with me. But I'm eager to work with you. So Sydney and Alice, you can both answer. Just jump in there. What are the benefits that you've experienced in terms of the life coaching program that you have had with me? What was going on with you before, and what happened during, and then now? How are you feeling now? What transformations took place in your lives?
So I'll go first. So I'm 34 years old. I'm originally from Indianapolis, Indiana. I relocated to the Pacific Northwest probably about 8 years ago after the passing of my mother. The Pacific Northwest, for people who don't know, is Oregon and Washington. Growing up, my father, he's from Oakland, California, and he
Oh,
relocated to Seattle, Washington, and I used to spend time out there. So that was the only place that I knew if I ever wanted to leave home that I would go. I stayed there for about 7 years. And then last year, well, maybe no, it was 20, yeah, last year, I had a bright idea to pack up everything and move to Atlanta. I honestly, I was called by spirit to come to Atlanta, just to be honest. And when you understand spirit, it doesn't make logical sense. It only makes spiritual sense and spiritual alignment. So it's hard to tell people, like, you just left everything and moved to Atlanta. You left a six-figure business. You left clientele. You left a comfort zone that you had built for yourself. And I was like, absolutely, because God had bigger plans for me. He has a
yeah.
bigger stage and a platform. And honestly, when I consulted with my spirit guides before I got here, they told me that I would meet Miss Jamila. Now, they didn't give her name specifically, but they told me I would know who she was when I met her. And when I met her at a meditation circle, just again going through the path of alignment, right? I moved to a certain area, made friends with a cheer mom at my daughter's school who happened to be cool with Miss Jamila, and she brought me right to Miss Jamila. That's how alignment works. So as
Yes.
soon as I had our first conversation with her, and she gave me my Orisha reading, and she
Mm,
told me who my Orisha was, that is exactly what my spirit guide told me. That's the person that I needed to align with when I got there. So as soon as she opened her mouth and said that, I knew she was the person that I was supposed um, to be aligned and attached to. So after that, I practiced. I did her meditations Mondays. It's been almost a year. I
yeah. Yeah.
started. I was living, me and my daughter were living with my god brother in, Stone Mountain area. And through this
Mhm.
transformation and this journey, I've been homeless. I've been
Mhm.
displaced.
Mhm.
I've lived in and out of hotels with my daughter. I lost my car. I lost my work supplies. I lost everything that I felt like God thought that I idolized or I needed to be the person that He wanted me to be. I lost everything but my spirit God. That was the only thing that was consistent, Miss Jamila, Professor Jamila. Sometimes I did not have the $10 for the class on Tuesday. Wednesday go by, Thursday go by, and I had some money for the class. It was by the grace of God. It could have been the only $10 that I had, but I sacrificed it because I knew I was going to get fed and that I was starving of being blessed by a melanated woman. Just to be honest, I came here to be blessed and to be healed by melanated women.
Mhm.
So on the journey, the spiritual tools that she gave me of meditation, people to listen to, things to do. So many times I wanted to quit, wanted to move,
Yeah.
wanted to jump states because I was in this place of discomfort. And she said, no,
Yeah.
spirit is not telling me that's what's for you. And sometimes she didn't say anything, which I knew was a no. Don't do it. Sometimes she would just say, she would just make this sound. And I'm just like, okay, if it was meant to be, she would have said, yeah, that's the way spirit wants you to go. But if it's not meant to be, either she's going to tell you no, or she's going to tell you, or she's not going to say anything at all. So going through these, I didn't have a job. I didn't have a home. I didn't have anything but myself. And that's all that I needed. And I was reminded of that every day, that I had the power. Even when I would call her outside of, our meditation circle, she counseled me through the most through situations I had never experienced in life. I never experienced homelessness. I never, by the grace of God, I never had to sleep on the street, but we were displaced. I never knew where I was going to be the next day with my 13-year-old daughter. But because of meditation, and because of Professor Jamila, I had a sense of spiritual security that I knew whatever happened, I was built for it,
Mhm.
and I knew I was protected through it.
Mhm.
So each day I chartered the unknown, and that is what Professor Jamila, she attests to a lot: the unknown, not being afraid of the unknown, and then putting in other people like Joe Dispenza and Michael Beckwith and Shaman Derek, and listening to their perspectives on the same thing. And I just had to, it sounds so cliche, but let go and let God, let go and let
Yeah.
God do what He's supposed to do. I
Mhm.
know I grew up, I have a Muslim Christian background. And I remember, scripture saying that, the battle is not yours, it's the Lord's. And I think sometimes we feel like the battle is ours. And that's how we energetically, kind of hex
Yeah.
ourselves when it comes to situations. Even so much as praying the same prayer over and over again. If you believe, you say it once, you put it in the atmosphere, God heard you. You just have to let go and let God do what He does.
Yeah.
So this program has changed my life tremendously. I can't
But
even think about.
To your credit, Sydney, and then I'm gonna bring Allison too, who is a wonderful retired educator, hydrotherapist, colon therapist, counselor from Nevada. And she and I have had a long history. But to your credit, Sydney, I was just so impressed and amazed because every time we talked, even if you didn't have all of the answers or the confidence that you can make it through, you held on to the words of the creator because I was giving you what I was led to give you. That's what I do with spiritual life coaching. It's very different than traditional life coaching because I bring in God the ancestors and whatever. I listen, I meditate, and I pray because I desire to make sure that what I'm saying is accurate and on point because your life is too important. And I knew that you were dealing with some very serious situations, but I saw that spark. I saw spirit moving and shifting and changing things in your life. And I would say, Sydnee, this is what I'm getting. I know that you are brilliant. I know that you are amazing. You have this wonderful hair care product line that's amazing. You're one of the few people, you're the only natural hair specialist that addresses curls that I know of in Atlanta. And you're just taking off. You're just amazing. So I saw that and I knew that you were in the valley because I've been in the valley several times and I'm somewhat in a valley experience now, but I saw it. I saw that you were coming out of it. I saw the light and I just commended you because your mother had transitioned, your grandmother had transitioned, your aunts, all the important women in your life were no longer there. So I said, okay, Spirit, have me step into the gap to provide her with that support that she needs and to let her know that I'm there for her and I would do as much as I can in my professional role and outside of my professional role to make sure that she knows that she's not alone. And she trusted the process. Every time, that's what I love about you, Sydnee, and you too, Alice. I love the two of you because you don't put an I in it, you don't put a T in it. And I tell people when I put you on a program, do not put an I in it. Don't put you in it. Don't put a T in it because if you do that, it can't work. And if we, because when people have had me on programs, if I knew what I was doing, I wouldn't come to them for assistance. So I tell people, trust the practitioner, trust the person. If you don't trust them, do not consider doing work with them because your soul, your spirit, your mind, those things are too important for you to entrust them to someone that you don't feel comfortable with because you're covering areas that are very sacred. And for me, every soul that I encounter is a sacred being and it's God in expression. And here you are, a young mom, and you brought your 13-year-old daughter with you, and you were dealing with some very interesting situations, moving, trusting people who turned out not to be the highest and the best, but everything happens just on point because Spirit was saying, it's done with me. It's time to move on. We see people for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. And sometimes we put our couches down and we lay down and we think that's it. And Spirit's like, no, I have something far bigger for you, far more grand for you. Just trust the process. And I think you trusted the process. And we're going to circle back to you after we talk to Alice because I desire for people to know how wonderful you are with your hair salon and everything. She is amazing. Amazing, okay? You have to go to her Instagram and see all the wonderful things that she does with hair. I was looking at Sydney. Is that a wig? She said, no, that's a person's hair. It's just like, it looks silky and with the curls and everything, with the natural hair, and her products are all plant-based, no chemicals, very good for your hair. It nourishes the scalp and all of that. Because I've used it. Very good. I use it every day, as a matter of fact. Very good. So she's my person too. So I'm going to go now to Alice Turner. Sydnee and I are both in the greater Atlanta area, and Alice is in Nevada. The thing I love about Alice is I met Alice over 10 years ago. She made the commitment to come from Nevada to see me in person for a training I was doing. I was doing Reiki and some other things, and we became like connected at the hip ever since. And everything, every course that I've taught, the coaching classes, because Alice is still with me. She listens. She takes copious notes. She can go back, things I've told to Alice. She said, oh, you said this to me on December 10th, 2012. I'm like, oh, yeah? I mean, I can't even remember some of the things that I've said because she's kept the notes. So it'd be like 2016 because we met about 10 years ago. So I was, how have the spiritual life coaching program that I've done with you helped you?
Oh my goodness, such an impact. When I came to you, I was already pretty seasoned in metaphysics.
Mm.
And
Right.
but there's the question, there's this nagging thing. I need more. Is that all there is?
Hmm.
And Sydney, like you, I left where I was, and blind faith said go to Mesa, Arizona. Leave
Yeah.
Chicago, leave your family support, leave everything, take your three children as a single mom and go there because they had this absolutely amazing school district. And I was teaching in the Chicago public schools. And I
Mm.
wasn't teaching. I was monitoring and adjusting behavior. And I said,
Yeah.
there's gotta be more. So I left. And when I got to Arizona, I didn't have a job. And
Mm.
I took my pension down in Chicago, moved my kids. My kids were like, we're going where? What? I had a 16-year-old, an 11-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And they were like, well, what? And there were no people that looked like them. I put them in a brand new world. But I was following spirit. But
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
then, I knew there was more to, the questions, who am I? Why am I here? What am I
Yeah.
supposed to be doing? So those questions were still nagging at me. And I left Arizona and came to Nevada because it was still that push.
Yeah.
And when the teacher and the student met, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. She just
Yeah.
appeared, just and transformation. You know, we're looking for help in our either in our health, our finances, or our relationships, or all three. And your programs and your counseling and your friendship have just exponentially helped all three of those areas in my life.
Wow.
And I was resistant. There were times when I was resistant. No, I was like, I'm like, who is she talking to? Is she talking to me? Okay.
Mm.
And then I'd say, okay. And she knew it because I would bristle.
Yeah.
And she'd say, mm-hmm, okay. But the transformation personally, I have become, happiness is conditional.
Yeah.
It depends on your circumstances and your situation. But joy, oh my goodness, joy is an inside job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Happiness is too, but joy is the epitome. So I have found such joy and peace
Oh.
Mhm.
with the practices that I've learned. Now this is 10 years. This is a 10-year relationship. And I like she says, I take copious notes. Y'all, I had to go in my storage and pull out my notebook. I have a compendium. Okay, it's over there. And as I was flipping through those notes, I was like, oh my goodness, I remember what situation I was in. And Professor Jamila can tell you, I have been in some situations, okay,
Yeah.
and some circumstances. And still, because this is a growth process,
Mm.
Yes.
and like you say, you feed the spirit, the mind, and the body, and they're all synergistic. I'm like,
Yes.
this has been amazing. And my family who used to think I was woo woo, they don't think I'm woo woo anymore. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they actually listen to my grandchildren listen to me. And they're
Mm.
like, grandma, the 13-year-old that I've adopted, my granddaughter, she's doing exercises to open up her third eye. Okay.
Ooh.
Mm.
And she comes in my room and says, where is the peace be still?
Mm-hmm.
I got a headache. She used to come in and say, Grandma, you got to ask me. I said, girl, I don't take that stuff.
Yes.
Take
And
this
for the
peace be
people
still.
who may not know, Peace Be Still, I have my own aromatherapy company too with holistic natural products. Everything in my company that deals with products I created. So Alice is one of my very loyal customers, and so is Sydney. With the Peace Be Still, it gets rid of headaches, PMS, menstrual cramps, sinus
Amazing.
congestion.
Oh yes, so she's been
Everything does about 10 different things. The only thing it doesn't do
yes,
is just brush your teeth. But
and we know
it
what
does
coconut
so many
we know what
things.
coconut oil does for that. And
Yeah,
with Professor Jamila, my health has been. I went through 2 knee surgeries, total knee replacement
yeah,
surgery,
yeah.
and I had
But
just
Alice, let me
yeah.
interject. She came here to Atlanta when her knees were not the best.
Oh my
She
God.
flew
Wow.
here to meet with me. She and another dear friend of mine. I was so impressed. And I said, that takes dedication and commitment. She saw the transformation and she wanted to deal with it up close and personal. And she flew in and she was having some issues with her knees, but she refused to give in and she still stuck with the program.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
And I
That's,
didn't know how I was going to get there. Remember, I did
Mhm.
not
yeah,
have the finances, but
yeah,
Spirit opened the way. God opened the way. But the one thing I have to say, it was an investment in me.
Mhm.
And
exactly,
it was
Yes.
so
exactly.
worth it. So worth it. All the
Yeah,
tools, all the tools.
Yes.
I found that my resource is the source.
Mm.
yes,
You gave me
yes,
all the tools I had. I started out with a tool belt, and then the
yeah,
tool belt turned into a toolbox, and then the box turned into one of those big things that you see in the auto mechanics garage with all the
yeah,
drawers. And now the
yeah.
box is turned into, I got a room, okay, for all these resources. It's not even a closet, it's a room, it's my office. And I go and I pick and choose now which one of these practices is going to help me through this. Okay, setting intentions. Okay, and I got to tell you a story about setting intentions. I used to sub after I retired about 15, 16 years ago. And after I retired, I still subbed for about 7 years. And every day I would go in, and I'm on a cane too. Okay. Anyway.
Mhm.
And I would think I'm in high school and he's gonna knock me down. And the assignments, I would go in and the assignment would be a cakewalk. And I was like, and this kept happening because every day I would say to myself, this is going to be a marvelous day. Every everything and every person that I come in contact with, this is going to be heaven on earth. And just things just started to set my intention. And my days, that's why I was able to sub for 7 years, 7 years
Mm,
after retiring. So that's just one of the resources. Set your intentions for the day. But
Mm.
anyway, I'm done
yeah.
for
And
now.
I think that this is really, really important and very, very important because people need to hear your own personal life
Yeah.
stories. And so when people hear that, rather than just hearing it from me, then they can just take it and say, oh, wow, this happened for this person. And so I know it can happen for me. And I just love the fact that Alice, that you and Sydney did not stop. You just kept going on, even though you had life changes going on. And Alice has been very, 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 very committed, as well as Sydney, in terms of just weathering through whatever has presented itself, and has made a commitment to herself. And like she said, you have to make an investment in yourself, because if you don't make an investment in yourself, then you're giving the universe a message that you're not worthy, that
Mm-hmm.
everyone else is worthy, because we're going to spend money on people, we're going to spend money on relatives, and spend money on other things that have nothing to do with us. We put them first. And what we have to learn how to do is definitely say we are worth it, we're worthy, and we deserve this attention. We deserve the time. We
Mm-hmm.
deserve um, having someone like me work with you. And what Sydney has said in the past too about trauma bonding, what people tend to do, and particularly young people and older people too, we tend to confide in our friends, and we
Mm.
tend to desire to have them co-sign on
Yes.
our troubles.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's good to release, because I don't think anyone should hold things in because it's going to affect your body. Yeah, definitely release to them, but up to a point, because unless they are skilled, and even if they're skilled, if they're in your family, if you talk about someone, and especially a partner to your children or to your family members, they are going to remember that. So when things get better, they will hold that against you. Whereas someone who is like myself, I will hear it, but I'm looking for the best in it for you. So even if it doesn't seem supportive at the time, it's because I'm seeing that spirit sees something greater than you do.
Yeah.
You're connected emotionally. I'm not connected emotionally.
Right.
So I'm not going to say, well, Jimbo is a scoundrel, or Marie is no good. I'm not going to put it like that. I'm going to ask you basically, how is this serving you?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it hurts because I'm looking at it, because I'm seeing spiritually where in, because there's so many possibilities. But my thing is to make sure that you are safe. And I would tell people, you are my client. This person over here is not my client. This person over here is not my client. I'm looking out for your best interest. Even if you don't see it, I'm looking out for what's emotionally supportive to you. Because sometimes we can't see it. We're connected to these people.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
we can't see that they may not be for our best and highest good. And we have our hands like this on them, right? The spirit is trying to pry the fingers away, and we're, no, I have to have this person in my life.
Yes.
This is who, and for the season, that person is wonderful. But then as we elevate, as
Yeah.
Sydnee has so beautifully said to me, and you too, Alice, as we grow, as we ascend,
Mm-hmm.
Spirit then saying, okay, this person was good for you during the time when you were at that level. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not that the person is awful. In some situations they are, but it's not that the person is awful. Some they are, some of them are
Yeah.
psychotic. But what the whole thing is, the Spirit is saying, beloved, I'm taking you to another level.
Oh
They
yeah.
Mhm.
can't come with you.
They can come.
They can't
Yeah.
come with you. You can love them, hold them. And then another thing that I learned when I was younger, I had a friend, and I told women you should always have female friends who are older because they're wise. I had a friend who was,
Mhm.
she said, when I was in this relationship with this guy that I really cared about, I wasn't really in love with him. Looking back on, I loved him, but I wasn't in love with him. So she said, you can love him and leave him. I had never
Mhm.
been told that. I thought you had to hate a person in order to leave, because then you're like, okay, I'm done with this. No, you can still have feelings, but it's not for your best and your highest. So my program is to get you to see you. And I tell people, I see what the creator sees. I see all these wonderful things. I see where you're going, not where
Mhm.
you are. I see where you're moving. And it becomes a little painful because
Mm-hmm.
we're connected emotionally. But
Yeah.
Cindy, you can share that thing about trauma bonding that you shared with me.
Um,
When
trauma
you're,
bonding.
yeah,
Um, so sometimes when you are emotionally depleted, you can attract other emotionally depleted people
Yeah.
and form a
yeah,
bond off of the the depleted or the deficit of the proper emotion. And it's something it's something that's super common. You know, um, I've went through experiences in my life where I was able to take a step back and look at. I'm like, man, how did I attract this person in my life? How do I attract these people in my life? And then I take another step back and see the people that I asked for, that it took a minute for them to come, but also how did I attract them? And I was like, I was at a place of wholeness. I wasn't at a place of, being in the deficit of emotion. I was in a
yeah,
place of healing or being or actively healed or in a
yeah,
place of joy, in a place of happiness, and that happiness and that frequency, you know, it can
Yes.
grab a hold of people just like negativity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know, you can happy bond. It doesn't have to be a trauma bond. You
I
know,
like that.
you get to determine what type of bond you have with people. But if the bonds that you have with people are because we came from nothing, because we came from the struggle, because we've been through things in our lives,
Yeah.
it needs to be something more than that. Did we heal together? Did we grow together? Did we flourish together? You shouldn't just bond with people because of bad times. Even
Well,
with
how
your
did this, how did working with me help you? Because I've always said to you that you're an old soul. So you're an old soul. And that's very, very positive. I said, because your insight is just spot on. How did working with me help you when you felt that you may have been trauma bonding? Was it giving you the encouragement to look deeper within, or so what role did the program and I play within your healing process as it's continuing?
Yeah, I think the healing process is continuing to go, but holding me accountable to my future and not my past. That's how it helped me. Reminding me that there are greater things for you. You know, sometimes we don't hear what we want to hear, and
Yeah, yeah.
and we stay in situations because we think that, you know, we can continue on and things can be okay. But what you've given me is a mirror of honesty.
Mhm.
A reflection of honesty. And sometimes it's not easy to stomach. It's not easy to hear
No.
it. It's actually pretty challenging, you
Yeah.
know, because you have these two crossroads. But letting me know and helping me understand as I continue through this process that there is something more greater for me if I could create it.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
have the power to create it. And when I'm
Yes.
saying,
Yes.
well, there's not enough of this and there's not enough of that. And I think, you know, paying attention to all the outside influences can distract you from your creative process. So, how the program has helped me, it helps me tap into my creation through meditation, through
yeah,
tools. And even when I am not if I'm busy or if I'm working or if I'm not able to make it to meditation or I'm not able to connect with, you know, Professor Jamila, I still use the tools that push me along the way. It's a journey. It's not a
yeah,
race.
No.
Like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, but you get to decide what you build and how long it takes by your energy, you
yeah.
know, and that is how the program has helped me. It helps me understand I'm never stuck. That's a
Mhm.
that's a form, that's a mindset. It's not
Yeah,
a physical state of being.
yeah. Well, that is so, and that's so empowering. But so for the young women out there who feel like you're alone, Sydney is a perfect example of reaching out. You need to reach out. Don't be an island and try to suck it up and do it on your own, because it's overwhelming and it's a bit much. And just confiding in your friends only, you need to step outside of that and talk to someone who can also support you, but not, as Sydney has so eloquently said, you don't need someone to trauma bond with you. Yeah, girl, I've gone through the same thing. Because you know what that does energetically? It keeps you stuck. You
Yes.
need to see someone who has a spiritual, not religious, because I don't use religion, a spiritual, energetic perspective who can help bring out the best in you, because that person sees that. And that's my role. That's my mission. I'm passionate about that. And Alice, I know you have some situations where they have become a little testy when I was telling you, Alice. So would you like to share something? And then in about 6 minutes, we're going to wrap it up.
Well, you know, you would always say to me, but is this for your best and highest? And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. No, it's not. Okay, because you would always tell me the universe is going to give you what you say. So
Exactly.
if that's what you're saying, because I would say, I don't want to live by myself. I
Mhm.
don't. And you would say, okay, but I did step out and I did it. And I was
Yeah.
like, this is us. And I helped my sister in the process because she
Yeah.
couldn't live alone. So I
Yeah.
stepped out. That's why I say it's ongoing. I mean, I have had so many situations. And then after that situation, you told me about something long ago about with my granddaughter. And
Yeah.
I didn't, I did listen, but I didn't. I said to you, you're telling me one thing, but my spirit is telling me to leave it alone. And you said, okay, leave it alone. And it came full circle, and I ended up having to adopt her because
Hmm.
but I wasn't ready. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't ready, but you had warned me. You saw where it was going, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to see that. I wanted to keep putting the I in it, and I did. I put the I in it, and I put the
Hmm.
T in it, and but it spirit worked it out
Hmm.
beautifully. But I am so amazed and grateful for the assistance and the things that you have shown me and what I really love is I got to see different cultures and different ways of looking at things, different perspectives. When we did the past, future, present lives course, that was phenomenal. Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
That, and the Metu Netter,
Yeah.
looking at things other than Christianity, not saying anything about Christianity, but religions are like spokes in a wheel and they all lead to the hub.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they're just different paths. And I really appreciated this journey with you where we looked at all of these different spokes to the wheel and saw, like I said, the common thread in all of it.
Hmm.
And so it just, like I said, I have joy now, joy,
Hmm.
and nobody can take that joy away from me. I
Hmm.
mean, I can get happy and then situational change and I'll say, but the joy is there. And I
Yeah.
pull up that wellspring of joy because I know who I am. And that's the thing. When you know who you are, where you're going, and why you're here, and you
Hmm.
can draw on that when things this matrix shows you these crazy things. You just
Hmm.
no, that ain't whatever.
Yeah.
Let me go in here and go within. Go
Hmm.
within. So yes, I have put the I and the T in it, but let me tell you guys, but Professor Jamila was on point and I went my way, but spirit brought me back.
Full circle.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
thing too about you, Alice, that was really commendable because you and Sydney have hearts of gold. Sydney has been in situations and she is so important. She has forgiven the people that were not kind to her, the people
Mm-hmm.
she trusted in limited situations. And it was rough. But then Spirit said, I got something better for you.
Yeah.
She's now in her own residence with her beautiful daughter, two-bedroom apartment. Her business is flourishing. So sometimes she wanted to go through the rough spots, but she and I remained in touch throughout the entire journey. That's what's important. And with you too, Alice, with the particular relative and in-law that you had compassion for, and but she had a drug problem. And I said, you had such compassion for her. And so we finally, and then think about the program that I'm doing, you can look at the ancestral part.
Yes.
She was
Yes.
able to connect. The reason why she was still connected to this in-law was because Alice's mother had a similar issue. So she had the epiphany. Said, oh, because I kept telling her, this particular person is not for your highest good. And she's going, and spirit kept showing it to her, you know. But because she had that unconscious connection, working with me, working with the program, she was able to make that connection. And now it feels no uh, feelings of remorse or guilt when this particular in-law still tries to manipulate. She's like, no. I now see why I stayed in this relationship trying to help this person as long as I did, because I was projecting my mother onto this person. And these are two separate individuals.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that, Alice, as we're wrapping up?
Oh, yeah. When we went 10 generations back on my mother's side
Yeah.
and
Mm,
we released the guilt, the shame, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I released them. And
yeah.
now I can interact with that person now in this, and I still have compassion, but
Right.
you pull the wool over my eyes so many times, but now no, 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 I'm good. I
Mm-hmm.
still love you as
Mm-hmm.
an individualized expression of the creator.
Mm-hmm.
But that other stuff, my kindness, please don't mistake my kindness for weakness,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because that's some karma that you're gonna have to deal with. So I am so appreciative of the homage, which really showed me some wonderful things, and especially that where I could release that uh, need to have the compassion to the point where I gave in and gave up my power. I have my power
Yes.
back,
Mm.
Yes.
and that makes all the difference. I have my power, and so many other things. I have my power back, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
like, yeah, whatever. When I look at these people, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm not your doormat anymore.
Yes.
But it was purposeful. It was what I contracted, and I say that was in my soul contract.
Yes.
Everything is purposeful. So I
Yeah.
appreciate the lesson. There's a lesson and a blessing in everything. So get the
Yeah.
lesson so you don't miss the blessing.
And that's the thing. When we look back on things and we're detached, and Sydney has been able to do that. Sydney, I want you to talk about that briefly because we have to wrap it up. And I
Mhm.
also want you to give people your contact information, Sydney. You want to have
Oh
that?
yeah.
And
Yes,
Alice is going to, in the future, start with this wonderful program, Navigating the Maze for teenagers and young people in their 20s. So you can
Yeah.
give your contact information, your email address, Alice. And
okay.
Sydney, you can give them your social media.
Okay. My social media is Brown BROWN _alchemy. That's ALCHEMY. You can follow me on Instagram. I have a lot of my all of my content. That's just like my business portfolio. So you'll be able to see my work, my products, the classes and stuff that I have available. And just with me doing hair care, it's not just hair care, it is also spiritual work. So it's
Yeah.
important for me to stay spiritually aligned because I am touching the crowns and the ether
Yes.
that is on
Yes.
us, and I'm very aware and I'm very intentional when it comes to the things that I put on our hair, and that's why I do a lot of plant-based hair care. It's been a wonderful journey. Things have happened so quickly, but as I look back, I have always been ahead of the curve because spirit has always tapped in and say, hey, you need to do this, or hey, how about try this, so I'm glad that I can infuse spirit and spirit work in with what I do and create wonderful things.
And that's the reason why we connected, because Spirit saw her heart and saw my passion in terms of connecting with people who desire to ascend and to change their lives. I'm not a person, Alice can definitely tell you this, and Sydney too. I believe in having you have the best life that you came here on this planet to have.
Yeah.
I am not, I'm not, I am Mother Earth, but I'm not a codependent therapist. I'm not someone who will allow you to sit for 10 sessions talking about the same thing. When we meet, I'll put you on a program. I'm like, okay, I'll let you get out, whatever's going on. I said, okay, oh, I understand, sweetie. Now, what are we going to do about it? Okay, I'm not going to wallow in it with you because the earth is moving fast. Gaia is moving fast. We don't have time to wallow. And as you see, people are leaving this planet of all ages. Every day I'm hearing about someone who's transitioning, dying, or whatever you want to call it. So I desire for you to have the best life you came here to have. And I'm there for you. I'm going to support you every step along the way. Sydnee is amazing. Go to her IG page, see her products, buy her products, natural hair care products. Regardless of race, it's going to stimulate your skin. It's just amazing. Okay, amazing. She has all the beautiful pictures on there, and she's about to go to the next level. I'm not going to talk about it because she has classes teaching people, and she shared with me a money program. You know, I said, you need to put that in writing because I'm looking at it. Absolutely amazing. So we're going to hear more from her. Remember, you saw her on my podcast, Great Lives on the Rise. Okay. This is where you saw her first. She's about to take off like a rocket. And Alice is
I'm gonna have to
so
get to
amazing.
Atlanta, Sydnee, and see you.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Man, I would love that. I was just hearing about, the teenagers and your 13-year-old and all of that. So I'm like, I need to talk to Alice about, because I have a teenager,
Yeah, she's really good.
absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to put that program together and have it under Oyende Institute, which is my
Yes.
parent company.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And because that's an age group that I love, but that's
I
not
know.
my passion. That's not my demographic. I'm like, go see Auntie Alice. Go see Auntie Alice. Mine is 30 up. I'm very clear. I'm very clear.
But
So Alice,
also 30 up, and depending on if you're into metaphysics or astrology, but after you have came out of that Saturn return, that is when things start to kind of really come together and the pieces start to fall together. So when you're going through that phase of 20, think about 26 to about 31, you're in this Saturn return phase. Your Saturn return has started. So your life is literally being flipped upside down and you're going through so many transitions. So when you come into your 30s and when they speak about a settledness that you have or an acceptance, or you have a new friend group, a new place to live, that's because you're out of your Saturn return and things are starting to stabilize, again in your life for what's going to be for the next, 30 years, 20 something to 30 years before you go into another return, So I think that's the perfect age, in the age that you are seeking wisdom. When I was going through my Saturn return, that's when my mom passed. That's when I moved. That's when so many pivotal things happened to me. And then I sought the knowledge that when you have a spiritual initiation, it pushes you and you're chosen. It pushes you to seek the generation, to seek the information, to heal the generation that you come from, or even just yourself. So I think that is a perfect age for you to cater to, because you're equipping people with that knowledge and that, spiritual sustainability that they can continue to move forward, with a clean slate.
Yeah. And to know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
And so Alice, thank you so much, Sydnee. We're going to wrap up with you.
Yes.
Oh, you want my contact information is
Yes.
Turner Alice and the number 12 at gmail.com.
Okay. Spell it out for them.
TurnerAlice 12 at gmail.com.
Okay. So look forward to her program because we need this. We need this. There are a lot of parents out there like, she went to bed at 12. As my daughter, she woke up as a monster at 13. I don't know who this creature is in my house. When they hit puberty, it's just like those hormones kick in. And you're like, oh my God, I don't want to be in a minimum security prison because I'm going to have to rock her. So Alice, Alice, puberty, I'm telling you, those hormones for
Oh
males and
yeah, and I'm
females.
grandma. Okay, I'm because I've adopted her. I'm grandma mommy, and that
Yeah,
is interesting.
yeah, yeah. But Alice did this wonderful podcast, Navigating Life's Maze. It was just really, really great. Excellent feedback. So we're working on getting something together for her to have her own podcast on the Oyende Institute Enterprises. So that's happening. So ladies, I so appreciate both of you. And just quickly, because we're running out of time, one sentence that you would like to leave very quickly, one sentence that you would like to leave with the listening audience about my services and about your transformation? One sentence.
Invest in yourself.
Oh,
I'm gonna say this because this is a line that I use from my company, from Brown Alchemy, but transform and be free.
wow. I love that. Transform and be free and invest in yourself.
And be free.
Thank you, my beloveds. You
Yes.
see how beautiful they are inside and outside. I love them. I love them. So for those of you who are listening, I am passionate about empowering you, assisting you in your transformation, because what I'm doing is I'm assisting you. You're the pilot. I'm the co-pilot. So all I'm doing is helping you realize who you are. If you have forgotten, and even if you haven't forgotten, you just need additional support sometimes. Oprah has 4 coaches.
Yes.
Okay? I have a team. Everyone needs support. Never forget that. My beloved Tina Turner died because she was a Buddhist, right? Not because she was a Buddhist, but she was a Buddhist and she kept everything inside. She had cancer, she had liver disease, she had hypertension, she had 2 or 3 strokes. Even though she was a Buddhist, you cannot keep things inside. It's going to negatively affect you. You need to release it out to the spirit and release it to someone who cares for you, who honors you, who appreciates you, and who is going to empower you. So look me up, Professor Jamila Franklin, Oyende Enterprises, Oyinde Enterprises, ENTERPRISES.com. And forget all that. It's okay. It's okay. Just go to Google, Jamila Franklin, JAMELA Franklin, FRANKLIN. Okay. So we will see you soon, beloveds. Love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Okay. Stay empowered. Namaste, beloveds. Take care.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Gray Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Sense, which is the product line of Oyende Enterprises. Jamila Sense is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Gray Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50 plus, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.